So we're sitting here at this amazing park, Jones Gap Park. And when I drove up to the park, I said, wow, I want to hike those trails.
My name is Paul McCormick, and I'm the Director of the South Carolina State Park Service. I've been with the Park Service for 25 years, and I've been Director for a little over 2 years now.
My name is Earl B. Hunter Jr., and I'm the founder and president of Black Folks Camp 2. We may be one of the most delightful companies in the world. Our job is to remove fear, add knowledge, and invite more Black folks to camp and enjoy the outdoor lifestyle any and every one. One of the biggest reasons, some of the reasons why people that look like me have not really enjoyed these beautiful parks. And you being the director at South Carolina State Parks, we had some major conversations on why. And I want to ask you a question, Paul. I want to ask you why it was so important and significant for South Carolina State Parks to partner with our company, Black Folks Camp 2.
Well, and I had the privilege of meeting Earl through a connection. Maria Whitehead connected us. And for years, as I said, 25 years with the Park Service, I'm a camper. I like to take my kids camping. I love going into the campground. I love riding through the campground, the smells of the campground. But I've noticed over the years, as anybody in this industry has, there is not a huge diversity in our campground. There's not a lot of people of color experiencing the outdoors. And this is something that I got involved in this line of work, and most rangers that we have get in this line of work because they love the outdoors and they want to share it with people. And it's a glowing piece of the puzzle that we're missing because we're not sharing it with the African American or people of the community or people of color in general. Right? And we are also struggle at the same time. We're not sharing it, we're also filled to capacity. Like on the weekends, you have to make a reservation to park here.
Yeah, that's a small parking lot.
Small parking lot,
right.
And it is booked every weekend.
Right.
And it is mostly people of the same demographic background who've been using this for years. And if you have not grown up doing this,
right.
You see the little sign that says Jones Gap State Park?
Right. You don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is. And this is the lands of the people of South Carolina, almost 30% of which are African American.
Right.
And they don't come explore.
Right.
And so we want to find ways to make them aware of the treasures in their own backyard, because it's in our best self-interest to protect these treasures.
Right.
A huge percentage of our population doesn't know what the value of their backyard is. Why do they want to protect it?
Exactly. So, and you know what? That's what I love, Paul. What you just said, that really collaborates with our company, right? We Black Folks Camp 2. We didn't create our company just to get Black folks to go camp and enjoy the outdoor lifestyle with just Black folks, right? We didn't do that, right? We created this company to get Black folks to camp any and everywhere. Our job is to help your efforts. Our job is to help your staff and the folks in the South Carolina State Park to really realize we have to have diversity. We have to have inclusion. But what's really cool is, Paul, is that the fact that the invitation part, right? The invitation part is amazing because most folks don't go where they're not welcome or invited. Part of our collaboration is that we had an amazing time because we created a tour with an amazing man, Coach Oliver Buddy Pugh, who's the winningest head football coach at South Carolina State University, which is an HBCU, historically Black college and university. And he came on an amazing RV camping trip with us, and it was dope. It was amazing.
And he's a lifelong South Carolinian.
Yes!
Everybody in the state knows who he is, and yet he hadn't visited most of these state parks.
Right.
He had never taken advantage of.
Never been camping.
Never been camping.
67 years old. Never been camping.
So it was like his first night in the woods was on those camping trips, and it was so much fun to it's fun to share that with anybody's first experience.
Right.
But it's kind of humbling to share it with somebody who's 67 years old,
right,
has lived in the state their whole life and never saw this as an opportunity.
An icon.
Yeah.
Right.
And especially with Coach, there's, you know, you can look at it and say, what were his barriers? He certainly can afford to go camping,
yep,
but he's never looked at these as a resource that he could go and stay at. So it was really fun to share that experience with him and some of the other great people that you invited along. Some of them who were lifelong campers, right, or relatively new campers, but then others who had never camped before and came and experienced.
We created an atmosphere, Paul, during that time, doing that tour, particularly at Table Rock and at Sesame State Park, is that we weren't trying to stage anything. We just wanted to really invite folks that we knew to come out and enjoy camping, right? Whether that be in RVs, whether that be in tent camping, we wanted people to really enjoy the campfire. We wanted folks to enjoy the food, the atmosphere, waterfalls at the park, the trails and things of that nature. One of the best quotes of that trip was the day after Coach Pugh's first night camping. He was sitting around the campfire, it was early in the morning, and I said to him, I said, Coach, how you feel? He said, Earl, believe it or not, I had the best night of sleep of my life. And when he said that, I got kind of emotional about that, Paul, because I was like, you know, this man is 67 years old, and he's never been camping. He was kind of afraid to go, wasn't something on his radar, and he came out, and we were able to invite him along with South Carolina State Park. And this man had the most amazing night of sleep of his life.
And he sat under the stars next to a campfire. He went up and looked at the overlook and saw a dark sky that he doesn't frequently get to see where he's at. And I remember him at one point looking at his watch and saying, I'm usually in bed like an hour ago.
Yeah.
And he was just enjoying being outside, sitting by a campfire under the night sky.
Yeah. Listen, we have to change the narrative for a couple different reasons. But the main reason is because of unity, right? And so, what are some of the things on the horizon that you have in your mind that you guys are doing, and then also I want to share with some of the things that we're doing with you.
Well, we're excited about our partnership with your organization because I think that helps us to put our message and our invitation out in a way we've never been able to do before. You know, we've tried initiatives through the years to invite people into the outdoors, but very standard practices where we're advertising in magazines, making sure that the pictures are reflective of people of color.
Right.
All the things the industry tells you to do to make people feel welcome.
Right.
With limited success, as evidenced by the people coming to our campgrounds and experiencing our park. Right. So we're excited about being able to change that message up and get into markets and explain it to people. So that's, working with you is one thing. The other thing we're really working on is the narrative inside of our organization.
Yes.
And part of it is, and I love what you say all the time, is you're going to help people remove fear of the outdoors.
Right.
For our ranger staff, we need to remove fear too.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the fear that we need to remove is we have really passionate rangers, some of whom you're going to talk to today, who love what they do and are very comfortable in the outdoors, but are not necessarily comfortable walking up to African-American family that they readily identify as unique.
Because they haven't really seen me.
Yeah,
all right.
And they're uncomfortable saying, well, will they feel me coming up and talking to them
right.
is inappropriate?
Right.
So they'll just smile and wave, and then from the other side of the coin, the African-American family's like, well, they're just ignoring me.
Right.
So we need to remove fear to go and be willing to have those conversations.
Right.
And to be willing to have those conversations with each other. We've scheduled several family camping trips for our staff that people are invited to, where we're going to have campfires.
Right on.
Sit around the campfire and talk about these initiatives. And we're really working on having much more open dialogue about what this is about.
Right. Because
there is, as you know, you founded the company and you've been through a lot more of the pushback than I've had to deal with, for sure. But we want to make people feel comfortable with what we're doing this and why we're doing this. Right. And the more they understand that this is really an initiative to share what we all love with a huge part of our community that it hasn't been shared with. Once they understand that, it helps to break down some of the obstacles that we put in our way. I read a quote the other day, what's in the way becomes the way. Right. So we've got to look at that obstacle that's in our way. Instead of trying to go around it, we got to go right through that obstacle. We got to figure it out. So that's one of the things we're really working on doing internally to try and help us succeed.
You know,
we want every South Carolinian, every person to feel that they're welcome here to come here. You are invited to South Carolina State Parks. I want to reiterate what Earl said. We are here to invite everybody, people of color, black campers, black visitors. These parks are yours. There's 90,000 acres of them around the state of South Carolina, and you are welcome to come explore them all of the time. They are great things for families. There's families out here picnicking with their kids today, walking their dogs, going on hikes. There's families completing our ultimate outsider adventures, which are all things to help get you engaged with the outdoors. We want to make sure you know you're welcome and invited, and we're excited to see you guys.
that invitation is amazing. And so as we go along, Paul, as we continue to galvanize our relationship, I want to let folks know that the campfire in our logo, is the unity blaze. And it means treat everyone, everywhere, equally. It doesn't matter your race, your gender, or your age. We're gonna treat everyone, everywhere, equally. And what I love about that is South Carolina State Parks has adopted that, because that's exactly what we want to do. Yeah. And if we're not doing that, we're not treating everyone equally, and we're not treating everyone equally everywhere and all over the place, man. We're probably just not doing our job.
We're definitely not doing our job. We are stewards of some of the best resources in South Carolina, not only the natural resources, but the cultural resources. We're entrusted with these places by the citizens of South Carolina, which include all the citizens of South Carolina. It's a privilege to have these jobs and to serve in these roles. And if we're not making everybody feel welcome, then we're not doing our job.
That's right. Listen, get your RVs, get your tents, get your hammocks, sleeping bags, get your boots, and your sneakers, get whatever you want, and come out and enjoy South Carolina State Park. 47 of the most beautiful parks in America. Listen, my name is Earl B. Hunter Jr. I'm the founder and president of Black Folks Camp 2, and this is
Paul McCormick, the director of South Carolina State Parks.
And together, we invite you to come out and enjoy South Carolina State Park.
Look forward to seeing you soon. Come out and play.
Black Folks Camp 2.